All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Good day to you. This is Doc from ReadySetCrypto, and today is Wednesday, the 14th of December. This is what we call ReadySet Live. This is our little webinar that we run from time to time to reach out to folks out there, see how you're doing, see how you're handling the bear, and if there's any value that we can provide by looking at the charts, looking at your assets, and maybe offering a little bit of guidance from here and there. All right, let's take a look here at what we have going on. We have a Fed day here, and everything was looking pretty good until the Fed release came out about an hour ago. So it was just about an hour ago, and market's not happy right now because the Fed doubled down on the hawkishness. So basically what they're said is that they're going to be raising rates throughout 2023. And my prediction for this would be that it's kind of like that line from Rocky III where Mr. T gets in the camera's face and he goes, pain. It's not going to be good. The Fed's going to go too far. The Fed is going to go too far and too deep, and they are going to crash the economy. I think maybe that's what they're trying to do. I'm not quite sure, but politically, it's going to be a disaster for that because, when the market starts hitting people in the pocketbooks and when it starts hitting people in their 401ks, which it has been already, but even worse than now, this is where, we're going to see a little bit of a revolution. So be careful for the double dip that we have here. Be careful for the double dip. So welcome aboard, everybody. As you check in, please let me know where you're coming in from. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button to let everybody else know that we've started. And, say hello. We got Robert coming in from Slovenia. That is our sole check-in right now. So I'll wait for a few other folks to come on board. So let us know where you're coming in from. And the way that we do this, normally we don't, I'm not here to postulate. I'm not here to pontificate or anything like that. I'm not here to sell anything. I just want to connect with you guys and see what's on your mind and see what's going on. The one thing that we will do is we will ask for any tickers that you want to take a look at. So a lot of folks come with their pet projects. That's fine. That's cool. I enjoy doing that. We got, let's see. All right, Seb, welcome aboard. What are my thoughts on physical silver and gold? I will look at those. And in looking at physical silver and gold, I hope it's okay if I just chart the ETFs that track silver and gold. They have reserves behind them. I know that they're not exactly perfect. I could also look at silver and gold futures if you prefer, but the ETFs are usually pretty good. And those have been strong lately, definitely. Okay, and we got Thomas coming in from Lithuania. Thomas from Lithuania, and Carson coming in from Germany. Fantastic. Both of those places are on my bucket list of countries to see. QANX versus USTT. All right, sure thing. Okay, so while we're doing this, I'm just bringing up, this is the NASDAQ index, and the NASDAQ is going to be tracking with crypto. So welcome aboard if you guys are just joining here. Again, my name's Doc with ReadySetCrypto. We do this every so often. It's going to be difficult to do this over the holidays in the next week or two because I'm going to be traveling. But back in January, once we get going in January, I think I'll be doing this every week. So look forward to that. Or avoid that, whatever is the way. If we look at things like the 10-year note, the interest rates are, there's actually something I want to, I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip all the Fed stuff. So the Fed stuff is out of the way for the end of the year. We won't have to deal with the Fed again making policy until the 1st of February. So this was kind of this is their way of kicking off the year. Now, watch this. Tomorrow, watch to see if this gets reversed tomorrow. A lot of times we'll see a Fed move in one direction. It bums out the market. Everybody's like, oh no, and Eeyore. And then the next day they sleep on it and they say, hey, wait a minute. And they find a silver lining in the Fed statement that gives them certainty, and then they buy into that. So don't be surprised if we see a little buying into tomorrow. But if we see continued weakness into tomorrow, believe it, and that's probably going to crush any Santa Claus rally into the end of the year. Welcome aboard, everybody. As you check in, please let me know where you're coming in from. Say hello. Let everybody else know where you're from. Be proud of your place. Be proud of your country. Okay, so that is that's the 10-year note right now. Actually, what I'm a little surprised by is how fast this has been heading to the downside. So this is the bond market saying that the Fed's not going to get out of this alive. That is the bond market's view that the Fed is going to screw this up. They're going to go too hard on the rate hikes and that it's eventually going to plummet. Have you seen the interest rate payments that they're making on the debt? It's just outrageous. At some point, they've got to bring it down. So I think this may be just a ploy. Hey, we got Yo-Yo from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome aboard. Yeah, forget about it. All right. Okay, so let's see. What else can we look at? Let's just go right over to crypto. So crypto is Bitcoin at this point is actually holding on pretty well. This is I drew this ellipse about a month ago. We got power issues here. I drew this ellipse about a month ago showing the expected move into the end of the year, and it's tracking this like almost perfectly. So that could get us up near 19, but again, this is not going to be able to do a job of combating the rest of the risk assets out there. So this is going to, BTC and crypto in general are going to follow the rest of the risk assets out there in the market. So, okay, we have all kinds of things banging and clanging in here. Okay, let's go straight over to some of the requests. If you check in, let me know if there's anything you guys want me to take a look at, right? So as you check in, give me a thumbs up. Let me know where you're coming in from and what kind of coin pairs you want to see. So let's go right over to Seb's first question. So silver. So we can look at this on a couple of different ways. We can look at SLV, which is the iShares Trust, and has been ripping out of a pattern. So this has been a nasty pattern for a long time. This has been almost a week. No, I'd say a monthly bull flag. More of a monthly bull flag. Let's see, where's my monthly? Way down there. Yeah, look at this. So that's like a monthly bull flag. Now it's going to come into play with this trend line at some point. And let's check the silver futures here to make sure that that is the same thing. So I'm going to go over to futures and look at the SI. So silver futures, are they showing the same thing? No, that's Silvergate. That's not right. Silver futures, let's try that. There we go. Okay, this I would consider to be more accurate. Let me go over to the weekly chart. Let's get that trend line in here because that will come into play from a technical basis. Okay, do you see what I'm looking at here? This one right there. Now this is kind of wonky. There's it's made some higher highs and so forth. Let me go over to the silver SLV into stocks and see if that plays out. This looks a little bit neater for whatever reason. Nope, it's the same. And notice where the price is right now. So this may find some short-term resistance about 22. If it pops above that trend line, though, believe it. But it's come from a long distance, and if we put this on the RSI Laguerre, we're almost into exhaustion on the weekly chart. And on the daily chart, we're definitely in exhaustion. So we may see this thing consolidate here, Seb, for a little while like this. So consolidation under this trend line and then build the power and break out again. So let's look at GLD as well too. OP. So Karsten, you want me to look at OP? Is that a coin? And what if that is a coin? What cost basis do you want me to What reference currency do you want me to? What is the currency pair you want me to use? Okay, so let's go over to, we'll just go to the price, and gold is now just getting above. Let's go over to the GC on the futures, because I like to look at futures because they're more accurate generally. So it is above the 200-day moving average. We are making a new higher high. We are making a new higher high. It's not quite as clean as the silver. It's not quite as clean. So silver's actually got a better pattern right now, but trading above the 200-day, trading above the 200 period moving average, I think is good. For both of these. So that is gold. That's a longer term pattern in gold. Gold is one of the most frustrating things to trade you ever. Silver and gold are both just very, very frustrating. So just when you think you see a trend, it's over. It's over as soon as everybody sees the trend. Okay, so that's my thought on this. Let me take one last look here, Seb, for energies. There's actually quite a bit of energy in gold yet on the weekly chart and on the daily chart. So this one actually may go for a little bit longer, whereas I think silver may find a short-term resistance point. May. Technically on the chart, it's at a short-term resistance point. Price can do whatever it wants to do. Just because I notice something that's a technical signal on the chart does not necessarily mean anything at all. The price can blow right through it if the supply and demand equation meets that. Okay, let me go on to, so Seb, let me know if you have any follow-up from that. That's kind of my read on it for right now. Is silver looks a little better than gold, but still not bad. Okay, so let's see. Seb, your second one was QANX. Let's see if I can find that one here. So if you're checking in, welcome aboard. We've got some new people checking in here. And we're going to look at this one. This is Quan Platform versus Tether. And this is on Gate.io. Wow, there's a lot of volume there. And it looks like it's being destroyed as we speak. I don't know what the answer is for this one. Something's really, really wrong with this. If this is the price action for this one here, something is super wrong. That is somebody trying desperately to get out. And by the way, while we're talking about that, let's look at Binance Coin for a second here, just on the off chance. There's a hell of a lot of FUD going on about Binance right now. I don't know if any of it is. I think it's guilt by association, right? When everything else is toppling, everybody wants to point the finger at everybody else, and what I'm also seeing is on crypto Twitter, I'm seeing people like they want to be the first person to yell fire in a crowded theater. Hey, look at me! I was the first person to to throw the flame on FTX and things like that. So. There's a surprising amount of support for Binance, though. A lot of people are saying, dude, leave it alone. If you crush Binance, we're all done here. Which I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but it's going to take a long time before any kind of centralized exchange goes back into business. I think it's going to be difficult for that. Okay, so that is QANX. I don't know what's wrong with that chart, Seb, but it's awful. Somebody is bailing big time on that one. Okay, so let me go over to Brooklyn and look at AGIX versus the Tether Singularity token. All right, this is one that's having a difficult time getting liftoff. So what we're seeing on this one is we're seeing support. Everybody wants to buy down here at 3.5 cents on Tether. And then when it doubles up at 7 cents, then everybody's ditching it. Just back and forth. So this is what a base is built in. This is where you can think of this as almost like you're building up a house and you want to put in a really deep foundation, which is going to, support the weight of everything and, your second floors and all that stuff. And okay, now I'm reaching a little bit, but that's what this does. This is building a base of support, So if and when it breaks out beyond 7 cents, more than likely, what will happen is the people that missed out on this move, that didn't get on board down here at these levels, the people that missed out on the move, if this does come back down like this, if it breaks out and comes back down, there's going to be just a pant load of resting orders sitting at 7 cents going, wait for me. Wait, I want to get on board too. Don't forget about me. I mean, that is one of the most painful things about investing, is being on the sidelines, watching something run away without you. They've physically proven that that is more painful than taking a stop loss on a trade, is being left out. And this, I think this has some social notions as well too. Being left on the sidelines, being picked last in the playground, are all painful things. And the same thing happens here. So if the price does pull back, then it gives you a chance to get on board again. So very likely the demand will be fairly strong. If on the other hand, if you ever get into a breakout trade like this that fails and goes back into the pattern, get rid of it immediately. Because that support, that secondary support, that, what's the word I'm looking for here? The hey, wait for me people are not there. They've given up on it. Okay, so that's AGIX with a whole lot of drawing on there. So it's building a base. Watch for it to break above 7. Watch for it to break above 7 cents. Okay, would I please look at OP versus USDT? Well, we shall. And this is also building a base, and I'm seeing a lot of other. This is kind of a rounded base. So this was a downtrend, and now what you're seeing is a higher low and higher lows and higher highs, which is good. That's positive. And so it's kind of building this sort of rounded base here of support. And all of this is very positive. Now, you can, if you want to, you can get more aggressive and jump on board here on a breakout above 115. But you're probably going to have difficulty watching this, so I would, unless you have a long-term horizon, I would trade this into 1.4 along with everybody else. And that's maybe where this is going to set up a base as well too, or a flag here. This is almost a cup with handle if that happens. And you should see the measured move target of this is going to go from 60 cents up to let's call this $1.50. So that's 90 cents. And so the measured move is 240. Measured move is 240 on this one, on a breakout above, say, like $1.50. So it's got some ways to go. It's got some work to do before it gets to that point. And I'm kind of forward projecting on here. I'm saying right now it's immature. It's still building a base. It's going to be a while. But if it's able to break out above 150, the target for this would be 240. 240. Okay. Thomas, how likely do you think that we are approaching the bottom? I am not very good at predicting the future. I don't even try. And I let the price tell me what's going on. So what I'm always looking for is to see, fractal patterns like, okay, we're just now starting to see the price ripping off the bottom. Well, not ripping, but just sort of like finally crawling off the bottom here. And we do have some decent volume with this. There's no really classic bottoming patterns that exist in crypto. So what we're always looking for is things like this, which are capitulation, where this was a puke. This was just a high volume puke. This was in late March of 2020. This is around the time that Bill Ackman got on CNBC and said, we need to shut down the whole country. And people just panicked. And what they're going to do is they're going to sell off all of their assets that are liquid. And so they sold off everything at, 9,000, and it dropped down to 4, and then that was it. It was over at that point. So Arthur Hayes has actually made the point that he thinks that between the leveraged lenders that have blown up, these are the Celsiuses and the Alamedas and Three Arrows and all of these people, between all the leveraged lenders and let's see, who else was it? Miners as well, and miner speculators. The people that have blown out have already exercised all their Bitcoin. Now, I'm speaking Bitcoin specifically here. Again, this is Arthur's point. This is an article that he put out on Hacker Noon not that long ago. But he's making the point, and he's as smart as anybody else in this market. He's making the point that the bottom most likely is in, and that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to do moonshots like what we did in 2020 here, like this kind of thing. But what we may do is we may do a lot of backing and filling. Notice what's happening here is that this is still building a base. So we may do a lot of this stuff, and this is why I keep saying it to my Omni members, that this is a trading market. This is not an investor's market. If you want to, you can do investing down here. You can do, acquisition, you can do dollar cost averaging, but you've got to have a super long time frame for that. You got to have a super long time frame. You got to be able to outlast whenever this thing bottoms. But to me, I think we may do this kind of thing for quite some time, especially if we have interest rates rising. If we have interest rates rising out there, people are not going to be putting money into speculative assets. It's not going to be the time for that. It's not going to be the time. This is almost the same analog that we went through. It was about 20 years ago when they eviscerated the tech market. They call it the tech bubble was burst back then. And it took a good 12 years before it really recovered. Now, I don't think crypto is going to take that long. Everything happens faster in crypto. There's so much more velocity in crypto. But to me, I think there's a good chance that we stay in a trading range. To get back to an answer for you, Thomas, I think we stay in a trading range for quite a while we continue to build out the base. And then one day, when no one's looking, when everybody has given up on this, when everybody says, this thing will never go, I'm selling out of everything. At that precise moment is when the bottom will be. When everybody basically has given up on this and just lost interest and everybody out there is into multi-level marketing again or some kind of real estate ploy, that's when crypto will all of a sudden take off. And I've seen it again and again and again. Markets will move when nobody's looking. They rarely move in the manner that they want you to when everybody's on board. That's the high. That's the top. Okay, so next one is Hex versus US dollar. I don't know if I can chart that. Well, I guess I can, versus USDC. Well, this is certainly an ugly chart. There's nothing positive that I can really say about this other than support seems to be holding down here at about 2 cents. But this is not a chart in accumulation, that's for sure. So it's just setting up a base. I would put some trend lines and some filters in here. I wouldn't pay it any mind or any attention until it starts breaking higher. Not at all. Not at all. Okay, any thoughts on XRP? XRP has been one of these very frustrating, here's the thing, it was hopeless, absolutely useless and hopeless, trading down here at 35 cents again. And then it rips. And we've seen this over and over again where crypto will have one or two coins that just rip. I don't know why. I don't know where the demand is coming from. It doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter where it is coming from. You don't need to know that. All you need to know is what the price is doing. And so it rips, and then all of a sudden it got grounded back again with all the FTX crap. So this is one of the stronger coins that was out there. It was doing really well, and then boom, done. So when markets, watch your trend lines. I'll tell you what, man, a trend line can save you so much money. When you're watching a trend line like this, rising patterns break to the downside. When this thing breaks, you don't argue with it. You do not argue with it. There's an expression which is best used with these initials, and it just means get out. Get out. So set up your exits before you enter a position and say, hey, if it ever comes down to this level, I'm going to get out. So right now it's still building a base. That's my read on this. Is it's still figuring out what to do, still building a base. I thought I did look at silver and gold on the monthly. I definitely did look at silver and gold on the monthly. So that's out there. So you can actually rewind the video and watch that. Okay, so Hex is dead unless it gets a pulse. We are all apes. Yes, we are. We all have lizard brains. The next puke. Okay, so we've kind of caught up on everything. So maybe, Rob, what I'll do here is I'll just, unless there's any other coins, I don't want to, we're almost at our time here. So I'm going to go back on silver. So silver, what I looked at on silver was we're basically in a great, big, massive monthly bull flag here. It's a monthly bull flag, which is really powerful. However, there's short-term resistance on this on the weekly chart. You can see this on this trend line. Now, trend line's a trend line, right? Just because some clown can play connect the dots doesn't necessarily mean that the market's going to have supply exceeding demand at that point. But it's amazing how often it works. It's amazing how often it works. So I would say right now, and especially when I start to throw some indicators on here, that shows that weekly chart is almost in exhaustion, and definitely the daily chart is way into exhaustion. So this yellow line here is what I'm looking at. So that's a very, very linear move, and it's in exhaustion. And normally when it gets to this level, it will stall out and consolidate. And that's actually what you want it to do. You want it to flag out at this point and build up energy again for the next assault on the next leg. Think of markets going up higher, like almost like Mount Everest. Here's base camp. Here's the first camp. Here's the second camp. Summit's way up there. You don't summit all in a day. You don't just run up there. You acclimate at every altitude. And that's what's happening here with silver. So silver looks way better than gold right now, believe it or not. Okay. I think we're done. Thanks, everybody. So once more, if you're out there on your own, don't have any resources, check out what we do have. We have ReadySet.trade. Actually, I'm not going to spend much time talking about this. Just look at the comments or the text below the video here. You can see what other resources that we have. We have some really, really smart stuff going on with Checkmate and ReadySet Vision. That is the what are we calling that? The Glassnode type of information. So this is, I do technically, just the classic technical analysis for things. And we also have ReadySetTrade. ReadySet.trade for more of the classic equity markets. So all kinds of free resources out there. And I'm going to keep teasing this one, but I have a really big announcement for you guys coming up probably in January in terms of kind of a different type of service and certainly a more attractive price point. So thanks, everybody. You guys have a great Wednesday. I will see you back here hopefully next week. So adios, everybody. Be good. Bye now. Thanks.